Hi, I'm Monsignor Bill Glosser, and this is Cooks with Collars, our episode for Holy Cross Parish in New Philadelphia. Today I'm going to make a Polish Eastern European variant called kielbasa stew, and we'll explain the difference between kielbasa and sausage to you and how all this came about. But as I'm going through, the first thing that I'm going to do is, you see our ingredients in front of you. We have, 1.5 rings of smoked kielbasa. We have 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine, which we've melted in the pan. We have one large onion that has already been chopped. We have 2 cups of water, 3 bouillon cubes, and we're going to use a half a teaspoon of pepper and a tablespoon of vinegar, 4 large carrots which we sliced, and 5 medium potatoes which we've cut, and then parsley for a little bit of added flavor and garnish as time goes on. I'm going to begin the process almost right away. We've melted our butter here on the stove, and I'm going to put in the onions because we want the onions to be the first thing to get soft as we continue with the rest of our recipe here. So we're going to saute them for just a little bit until they get soft, and take it from there. Now, my parish in New Philadelphia is Holy Cross, and it is a combination of 3 parishes. St. Anthony's in Kombola, which was always Polish. The Polish people, Catholics of Polish descent, that came here. We had Holy Family, which were tended to the Irish immigrants. And then we also had Sacred Heart, which took care of the Lithuanian people. So now my parish of Holy Cross is a mixture of people who have descended from Poland, Ireland, and Lithuania. But as we know, we are all one holy Catholic and Apostolic faith. We're not a Lithuanian church, we're not a Polish church, we're not an Irish church. And over the course of time, many of these traditional cultural dishes have become staples on tables for people who are Irish or Polish or whatever. They become American dishes. The difference between kielbasa and sausage, believe it or not, there is a difference. First of all, the word in Polish for sausage is kielbasa, but there's a very unique difference. There's actually like 4 of them. So the first would be the shape. Sausage is normally in lengths, and it is also finely ground meat with some seasoning and with some spices. But maybe a link might be maybe about that big, unless you're talking breakfast sausages. Kielbasa is of a thinner diameter, and it's always in a horseshoe. For the most part, for the purist, a pure Polish sausage is always fresh. It's never smoked. But up here, because of refrigeration way back when at the time of the miners, we had to smoke it so that people were able to have it pretty much year round, because smoking is a nice preservative for that. Why sausage comes from a different variety of meats. The notion of kielbasa is primarily just pork and sometimes veal. But for the most part, other variations, they're talking beef, they're talking turkey, they're talking chicken, they're talking pork. But kielbasa is basically, just as I said, pork and every now and then a little bit of veal added to it. One of the third difference is the taste, because sausage uses a variety of different seasonings, but kielbasa basically is very garlicky. It has some margarine, and it also at times has some dill seed. During different times of the year for different types of holidays, they might use some dill seed in it, to give it just a little bit of an added taste. But kielbasa is normally, as I said, very garlicky and this unique taste of marjoram. So what I've done now is I probably pretty much have loosened up, softened up my onions, and the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to add 12 ounces of any kind of beer. Of course, if you're from Schuylkill County, you use, Mother's Milk up here, which is Yuengling's beer, Yuengling's Lager, Black and Tan, Chetty, their Pilsner. They all make some very good variations, and they also add some different tastes to this stew which I'm making, which would be a nice stew that when people came home at night, especially from the mines, it would be something to fill their husbands up and make them also very happy after a hard days of work. So we have 12 ounces of beer and 2 cups of water. And with those 2 cups of water that we just added, we're going to put in 3 beef bouillon cubes. We're going to put in our 1 tablespoon of vinegar. And we are also going to put in half a teaspoon of pepper. And that's about a half a teaspoon. Of course, as time goes on, as you taste it, you can also, add the taste to it. So we're going to mix this concoction together, and it is very, very easy. So we have it all mixed together. Our bouillon cubes are starting to dissolve, and now from there we are just basically going to add our potatoes and our carrots, and we're going to let this cook for approximately a half hour. I'm forgetting the main ingredient. And as I said, this is a ring and a half of smoked kielbasa. As I said, pure Polish kielbasa is basically, it's not smoked, it's always fresh. But for various reasons up here in the cold regions, we began to smoke it for preservation. And now that we have refrigeration, we don't need it. But we've also discovered that we enjoy the smoked variety much more. And very often we eat this cold. So this is a recipe from one of my friends from when I was in Monterey City, when I was basically first introduced to different types of ethnic dishes. Josie Hannes. Josie Hannes would cook kielbasa stew on training nights for the guys in the firehouse, and it'd be a nice hearty winter meal that we would have after we got done fire training. So we're going to let this cook for a half hour, and we'll come back then and have you take a look at it, and by that time it will start to smell really good. So thank you for your time, and see you in a short while. Alright, we've let our kielbasa stew simmer for about a half hour. I turned it down a little bit after it started to boil. Potatoes are soft, the carrots are soft. Actually smells delicious, and so all we have to do is just serve it up, and it's a good lunch, a good meal, supper if you'd like it. And we hope that you enjoy this episode of Cooks with Collars, Holy Cross style in New Philadelphia. God bless you all, and thank you for your help, and please remember to pray for your priests. So we have that. We top it with a little bit of parsley to give it a good taste. And bon appetit.